Welcome back to the Midday Q&A. I'm your host, the Duckman. We're back today with Eleanor. That's right, my 1956 Beetle. But most importantly, we've got Earl with us from Classic Car Creations. How you doing today, Earl?
Not too bad.
Oh, it's a hot one today, isn't it?
It always is here.
Yeah, it's always warm. Classic Car Creations, by the way, subscribe to Earl immediately. Get over there, do it now, come back to this video afterwards. Duckshit.net/CCC is the fastest and best way to get you there. Because if you want to get updates on this car, you're going to have to be there or you're not going to see them. Well, Earl, first question of the day, what are we doing?
What we talked about when we came to visit you, wanted to go over the left and right of the car and the profile and everything is we're really in check. So what we're going to continue to do is we're going to actually take the car apart and we're going to get it blasted and we're going to come back, we're going to zinc chromate, we're going to work over any parts and pieces and areas that you need that need to be fixed and addressed and everything. And then we're going to start by building our substrate.
That's it.
So,
gotta make her flat.
Yeah. And even though it's a round car,
right,
we're going to make the panels flow. We're going to make her flow. Yes, so that's the main thing, yes.
Beautiful. That's the first thing we're going to get started on is leveling it out. And I guess
Yes.
after that, then what is it, primer, sand, paint?
Yeah, it's going to be repetitive,
A lot of
blocking, a lot of DAing, a lot of reapplying and everything. We're probably going to go through a 7-8 coat process of high build.
Wow.
It's average. It's average on an old car.
Wow.
And then
This one's special. It might be
certain
more than
low
that.
area, in certain low areas, we're going to use a Kevlar reinforced fiberglass. So it's a 1-to-1. It's a nice mixed stuff, and it's forever. It doesn't have talc or any polyester, and it's just a resin-based fiberglass. It's an approved repair for Corvettes. So we're going to use that same product on the low areas to fill the voids rather than adding all this other type of material. So there's not going to be any stacking effect.
And it's not Bondo.
No, it's not Bondo. And then we're going to use the high build primer, which is a good 3M product. It's a 4-to-1 super build. You've seen us use it in previous videos on our channel. Where we spray it down and then we block it off and we call it concrete. It's just its nickname, but it's really not. It does sand once you bite into it and then it blocks like any other primer.
Excellent.
So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to build up that. So she's going to have some millage. And she's going to gain a little weight, but nothing bad. Nothing in the bad areas. She's still going to look sexy.
She's a big booty girl already.
She's going to look really good.
If you got a big booty girl and she gains a little weight, is it really that big of a problem? No, I don't think so.
She's going to look good.
Well, the big question is, when are we getting started?
We're going to be getting started within the next week. We're going to go slow start in, and once we get back from blast, we're going to go full tilt.
Excellent.
As soon as it comes back from blast, we go full tilt.
So that means by the time you guys are watching this video, chances are things are probably already starting. Just the video.
Right now, I'm going to assess everything. I'm going to map the vehicle. When I talk about mapping the vehicles, I'm going to take my camera and I'm going to take pictures of every bit of it. I'm going to map the car.
Run a laser scanner.
Everything. I'm going to go over everything to make sure where I've been to know where I'm going. And I want to see where I can improve upon where I can. Like certain little areas, like we'll move the hood over a little bit, we'll move it forward a little bit. We want to make sure it still slips down in the front properly. We want to make sure the fenders fit real good, even with the gaskets, and the doors fit good with the gasket. We want to make sure everything sits up nice. And then first off, before we even go to sandblast, I got to mechanically take off all the previous work. Because you cannot take Bondo off very well with sand media blasting. It actually causes so much heat. It'll actually warp the paint, so you can't.
Plus it just takes forever to get it off.
So if you're doing that, you're putting so much heat, it's distorting the metal even worse. We don't want to do that. We're just going to mechanically take it down with a mechanical orbital that I have. It's an 8-inch Ingersoll. Real nice, and we just slow it down. I've used it before, and it'll actually, you can even flatten with it real quick. It cuts the time down of blocking. So we're going to rip all this garbage off of here, get it gone, and then we get it down to metal, and then once we get to metal, we're going to work right off everything.
I don't know what we're going to find under that either. That was not my work on that lower door. That door was actually a donor from a different car. And it was a late model Beetle too, so I actually made these doors for those of you that don't know. If you're just getting caught up for the first time. These doors on this chop top, the door is actually from, I believe, a 70s model, but the top is from a 56, the original Eleanor's door. The bottoms of my doors are so ruined, and I decided to take a set of doors that somebody already butchered. They had already cut the door handles out of them and shaved it all flat. And nothing worked right on the door already. So I figured at that point it was a perfect door to make a donor out of. So I made this custom door. And as you notice, the hinges are removed here, which means I made Earl a whole lot more work to level things out because there's all kinds of, you guys get the point on that. But
it's actually not the door hinges that are hidden that I'm concerned about. It's just the previous work that is there that we don't know what's under it.
Right.
That's something that's really concerning because I got to fill.
Well, my concern, I don't know if you looked at it, but open that door and look in the middle of the A-pillar where the door opens. See how close that gets? Right there, right in the middle.
No, it's not going to be a problem.
That one's not a problem?
Because you're higher here than here.
Well, that actually may be the problem. If it's higher here,
well, if you're
then the
already
door might
tight
drag
here,
on
I don't
it.
need to add, I'm not going to add anything. I'll use this as the tightest point of the car.
That was my
The worst
concern.
case scenario, if it kept binding, I can pull the line back. But the main thing is this is actually taller than this, so when it curves in, it's actually going to the high point at that point. That's your highest point.
Yep, that's it.
It's never going to come
That's
back.
good, okay.
So basically, I got to build this up to this.
The
Or
passenger
that, I'm going to
side...
either end up heating it and moving it back a little bit.
Yeah,
I
it's
gotta work
already
that.
dented, actually, so you may not even move
Because
it.
I do
You
have
might-
a curve in here that comes back in, and it's coming back in a full 8.
This front end was hit. You can see the wrinkles over here. You see the wrinkles there. So this quarter is probably a little
She's
short.
getting a facelift.
Yeah,
Don't
she's
worry about
probably
it.
a
You're not
little
going to see
short.
any wrinkles.
Well,
She's
I'm
gonna
just
look
letting
really
the
good.
viewers know, so they're well aware that this front
Yeah.
end was hit, and that's the reason why the car is a little distorted on the driver's side. Passenger side's actually pretty good, although the A-pillar door clearance on there is a little closer on that side. But it can be played with a little bit. That lip where the seal sits inside the door, you can actually shave a little bit off that if you have to. That shouldn't be too big of a problem.
You know, something that you and I are going to be doing together
Uh-huh.
is we're going to end up doing some video conferencing together with this particular car.
Right.
Because I'm going to be asking you a ton of questions. Glenn, what do you want here? What do you want here? What do you
Paint.
want here? Do you like this here? What, you know what I mean? I want to know what you want.
Absolutely.
And because I already kind of have your vision now. I kind of know where you're at, but I want to know the specifics.
Mhm.
Because there's a lot of things we're going to go together on this and basically just make sure we have it in your vision as well, like I said.
Well, the next question everybody's asking is, when is this car going to be done? And the answer is, for me, I don't know when the car is going to be done, you guys. I have no idea when the car is going to be done. But when is Earl going to be finished with it is the big question. Now, we're not hurrying you, Earl, and I'm not putting you on the spot for this one. So even if you give me a month, it's an approximate.
This is a question I get all the time. Or like when it's first painted, oh my God, we're done. Oh, no, I got an assembly process, got a polish process. Like it takes time to do all that.
Right.
I don't normally put a time limit on anything. I don't like putting time limits on anything. You can't.
You can't, especially when
Because
it's
life
not working.
happens. Things happen, there's setbacks that happen along the way, but in general what we plan on doing is expediting pretty fast in the first phase. On my channel you'll see cars that get expedited. We just recently did the 57 Chevy, and before that we had a 69 GTO. We processed those cars within a 40-day period. It's not going to be any different. So Eleanor's going to go take her shape within 40 days. As I'm planning this right now for what we're doing in the shop with 7 cars. By the way, lucky number 7. She's lucky number 7. That's the 7th car that we had this year, and this is our final car in the intake schedule until mid next year.
Wow.
So yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So it's pretty slick, you know. Ironically enough, like Boomer number 7.
Right. Boomer was the 7th duck, for those of you that don't know.
And
Boomer the duck is actually inside sitting in the bathtub right now. He's kind of chilling, having breakfast with Steve.
and for us, Eleanor is actually car number 7 for our shop.
Wow.
So it's pretty.
For the year.
Yeah.
Not
yeah,
the 7th car in the shop.
So pretty cool. But yeah, we're going to be.
So what's our approximate time frame you figure? We'll see this thing back.
I'd like to say under a year.
Under a year.
Let's say
You were
under a
saying
year. And
sometime-
that's actually stretching it because I can process pretty quick. The problem that slows me down is the more millage I have in the material, the more chance of dieback. Primers and the body fillers and all the material that we use is polyester, and then it's also talcum powder. That's the main
In the
ingredient.
Bondo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and stuff like that. So if we have little areas with spot putty, we have to spot putty a little area we just didn't quite get it. That's all talc in that material, and it's good material. It's been used forever. It's great to level with. You just can't abuse it and say, "Oh, it's done," and then blow the paint on it. It's going to show.
Yeah.
We live in Florida.
Shrinks.
If you notice, even in our videos, we're sweating. to
Yeah, I'm
death.
already
We're going
sweating
through
through.
cases of water, and you know how it goes.
The video's only at 9 minutes here, and I'm already sweating through my clothes. So
Yeah, we're about 90 degrees, and it's early in the morning still.
Yeah, it's still early.
And I got the fan in the shop, so we got a gentle breeze going through here, and it's still not enough. So it's typical this time of year. It's a swampy time of year in Florida. So with that happening and that's why we have a humidity gauge in the booth. It's usually over 80%. It's wreaking havoc on the bodywork. What happened to me doing the 57 Chevy, when we were blocking the car, I come in the next day and reblock it, you start to chase your tail because the material's still doing this. Once it settles out and it slows down of what it needs to do on dieback, then I can go in and reblock it and it's more stabilized.
Gotcha.
Because I can chase this all day long and then waste time. I don't want to do that. I want to get in, knock it out, level it up, get it as close as I can, and then let it sit, let it die back, come back, revisit it when the materials die back, and then we hit it again.
Now we use that term dieback a lot. What is dieback?
It's just gas off a material initial, and then it's moisture and temperature reacting with the material that's already on the car. And it reacts in different areas. If it's thinner, it's less. If it's more, it's a lot more, and it takes more time.
So what it actually is the changing of the shape or the mass of the
And another thing is, we've had happen on cars that, if you really want to get more specific, cars with long flat panels that I have done over the years, they actually change with the temperature of the day. So I can straight edge it in the morning.
Wow, I hadn't thought about that.
Not a joke. It's real. If you're really nitpicking, because the way we look at cars, we sharp angle shot 2 inches off the panel to make sure we don't have a drape effect going down the car. I don't mind if we have a transitional effect like this, but you can't have that drape effect. You ever see that on a car? That happens a lot, because you're just rushing to the work. You don't want that. Remember, it all dies back in different areas in different ways.
Gotcha.
Plus, how whoever's applying it, it depends on if they have a good paint system or a good air pressure system. Air pressure will flutter really hard on a paint gun without a correct, you need a lot of volume of air, but you don't need the pressure of it. You don't want it to be blasting the panel. It causes a flutter effect.
Okay.
You just, that's why we use larger diameter hoses when we paint.
I got you.
So anyway, not to be so specific, but there's a lot of little things I have to make sure that I can get the car as straight as possible. Because there's technically in the real world, there really is no such thing as straight. Humans are not perfect, so nothing's going to be perfect. And even if you did make the panel perfect, you really can't make it perfect. I need to do a tech video on that where I can actually show you how blocking, if you so gently block the panel, you pull the block back and you can see where your hands are even though you never pushed on it.
That's true.
There's no such thing as flat. But you can get it optically perfect, yes. That's everything, because it's all a Houdini effect. If I can make it beautiful, it's good. It's
make it beautiful, make it appealing to the human eye.
That's what we all do. That's the goal.
On a story of dieback, real quick, and I know I've told you this, but I haven't told it to the audience, but I bought a brand new Acura back in 2002, an RSX, really cool car at the time. But the idiots at the dealership, why they do this in the state of Florida, I don't know. We don't have front license plates here. But they drilled holes through the front plastic bumper and mounted a front license plate bracket so that way they could put their dealership tag on the front of it.
You ruined the fascia.
I don't want the damn car with their light. No, no. So when I bought the car, part of the deal was, fill the holes in the front bumper and, paint it over and make it look like it was new again. And they did the work. They paid for it. It was out of their pocket, no problem. But they turned it over in a day. They gave it to me and it came back same day. And I was like, that was quick. I said, I wanted you to keep it for the weekend so you could at least let the Bondo and the holes shrink. And they're like, no, we knock it out as fast as possible. A week or two later, the holes came back.
Yeah, it always does.
A week, that's all it took. A week or two later, the holes came back. And within the first year, the paint was already peeling. Because why? They painted over the clear coat.
Yeah, you can't do that. That's another no-no. So they didn't prep anything right.
No, they didn't do anything right at all.
And if you rush anything, nothing good comes from rushing a job. And when we're putting paint on the cars today, the paint ain't $99 a gallon. It's almost $1,000 a gallon now. And people are like, what do you mean it's so expensive? Because we don't use cheap paint. You get what you pay for in this business, and especially today. Unfortunately for me, it beats me up as well because people are getting hit at their wallet when they're trying to pay for all the body work and time and everything that we try to do in this. But it takes a lot of material. It takes when we get to the paint, which is the icing on the cake, I call it. You don't want to put crap paint on your vehicle.
No, it's a lot of time and it's a lot of material that goes into these things. And I respect that because I do the work too, and I'm just a little shit can hobbyist working out of a little garage in Pensacola, Florida.
Yeah, no, but sometimes I always said to you, the hobbyist can turn out some of the best work. Since it's not always the major shops that turn the best work out.
That's interesting.
That's why I said in one video that I was doing OSPO, I said, watch the guys in the trenches. Some of them turn out some miracles. And that's why I always check around even on YouTube. And I said, watch the people, man. There's some good people out there that really know what they're doing.
And there are some.
Yeah, it's not the shop that does it every day. To them, it's IJ, AJ. It's just a job. But to us, it's a passion. And the reason why this car materialized is because you had a vision for it. You stayed with the car. You worked your tail off to get it.
I did stay with that vision, that's for sure. I mean, this thing just turned out absolutely fantastic. I mean, everything that I dreamt she would be, and she's not even anywhere as close to being finished yet. Once Earl puts his fingers onto this thing, this car's going to be just absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Well, I think we're going to wrap up the Q&A video with that today. So thank you guys very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to Earl, duckshit.net/cc. And on this video, as always, likey, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to pluck that dingle belly. Thanks guys for watching. Appreciate it. Say bye, Earl.
Thank you for watching. Thank you.
Take care. All right, we got a bonus question. Earl, we know that that's a 1956 Beetle down below standing next to you, but what do we have here up on the lift?
This is a TCI chassis out of California. It's a prefab setup. It's really nice with a 4-link, 9-inch Ford rear. And this is for Hank's 53 Ford F100. And we've been building this one on our channel for some time now. This truck is going to paint now, so it's in disassembly. So as you see, it's strapped down on the lift. We're going to be taking the motor, the rear axle out of this, and after that we're going to put the frame on the cart, get it over in the paint booth and DA and prime and paint it.
Excellent. Excellent. Now, why is it green?
Why is it green? That's going to be the same green. That's going to be the underlayment for this. It's the zinc chromate. It's 2580 CR. CR means corrosion resistance, and it's one of the best epoxies out there that we know of, and it's also quite illegal in many states because it's very nasty to paint. And, but the resistance of it is fantastic. It's for life. You can actually spray this and throw the part out in your lawn and let it sit for decades, and it ain't going to rust. The performance of the product is fantastic, so we use that.
Now, for the little people that like to get up on YouTube and say all kinds of complaining things, why don't you tell us why the shock absorbers are on upside down?
Well, we got to be able to adjust these. See this?
I do.
I can't adjust them from up there. You have to be where you can adjust your ride height. And that's what we're doing. And then also, we can get to the adjustment right up in here. So,
interesting.
Yeah.
So they actually do work that way. You can.
If you go in their manual, that's how they want them orientated.
Okay, so that's actually the instructions of how they're supposed to be. Gotcha. Gotcha.
Correct, yes.
Gotcha. So it wasn't just.
You're just not going to get to the adjustment with the tool.
Because I do have some shocks on the back of Eleanor that are oriented that way too, with the little stems going upwards.
Let's go one.
But again, the manual said that, so that's why I did them that way.
Does it really matter?
It might, if the oils inside have to settle a certain way. I know
road and stuff, and it gets stuck up in there. Yeah, but
I know motorcycle shocks are that way.
They have seals in here. It's not going to get past the seals.
Well, if they're fine and that's the way the manual states, then that's exactly right.
Good quality shock, so no, they don't have failures. And plus, if there is an issue and it fails in the warranty time, they'll just replace it.
Excellent. I had to ask you that because I know seeing that in the background, that's the first thing that some little weenie's going to say when he gets up on my YouTube. Why are you shocked? You better fix that. No. No.
You're not going to have a failure with this. We're not going off-road. They're not going mudding with it. It's on a road. It's not going to hurt it. Water and moisture.
It's not
going to hurt it.
It'll be fine.
It's not. It's going to be fine. We have many cars that are doing this. We're doing this too right now. Project LS is also for all the way around coil.
Excellent.
And then the Hemi project is also going to be coil.
Fantastic. Well, that about sums it up. Thanks a lot, Earl.
Thank you.
And for those of you that are wondering where the fenders are, yeah, we got them. I taped them all together and threw them down inside the car when I transported all of this, so they were kept in a safe place and out of wind resistance because they're like giant parachutes, and behind the 350Z I figured that was just going to kill my gas mileage. So it's debatable how much it helped or it hurt. Either way, they didn't fall off on the way over here. We got some parts up here on the bench to Eleanor. Some of the stuff you might recognize. This is our ashtray, a stock 1956 Beetle ashtray. Very hard to get and not particularly cheap, even for a used one. I don't know if anybody's reproducing these, but I was really lucky I found that at a car show for next to nothing. These are Eleanor's original 1956 taillights. Earl will be painting these the body color, of course. Up here we have the license plate light that goes on the rear deck lid. Some people call it a Pope's nose, but it's not a Pope's nose. A Pope's nose is actually the earlier style that came before this one. It actually more resembled a nose. This one, not so much. We got our steering box covers. These go underneath the hood. These, I believe, are painted black by factory. Harold's going to take care of those for me just the same. All this stuff has already been coated in phosphoric acid. That's probably why you notice there's no rust on it. I did forget to fix that, though. Yeah, I figured you would. We've got seals. All of our fender welt right here. Got that all taken care of. Here's our deck lid seal, so that way once Earl gets the deck lid painted and put on the car, that it won't bang together and mess the paint up. We got our door seals. These are the ones for early Beetle. However, these are probably going to have to be cut down to match Eleanor's doors. Shouldn't be a problem. We got more fender welt right here. This is our hood seal, because of course once the hood gets painted, same thing. You don't want to lay the hood down on the metal to metal, because it's just going to screw the paint up. So this is going to be the hood seal that goes on there. We got some fender bolts right here. We got a complete set, a few bags of them, so that way Earl can get these fenders mounted. And then lastly here we have some insert nuts that would go down to hold the fenders on if in the event he has some nuts that are either stripped or just damaged. I think I've gone through all of them and I think they're okay, but if he runs into a problem, I wanted to make sure he had some of these. So that should get you covered for all that. What you think, Earl?
Excellent.
Think we got just about everything?
pretty dang close.
Almost. We forgot one thing, and you guys might notice by looking at this pile here. Where's the bullet turn signals that that showed up?
Look at 'em.
Somebody was really, really nice to ship those to me as a gift. Those things were not cheap. I think they were probably about $150-ish, something like that. They had lenses, bulb housings, everything. And unfortunately, they didn't make their way here. So I'm going to slip them in a box, put a FedEx label on it, and get them sent over to Earl. There's a few other little things I need to send over to, little nuts, bolts, hardware, just small stuff. And we'll make sure he gets it all just the same. But, yep, it's not just the body. Fenders and a whole bunch of little geedunks.